Well, Mr. President, we're gonna need more baby powder. Yesterday at an event, Joe Biden seemingly pooped himself again. This is like the fourth time they've gotten it on camera. If you guys remember, the one time Biden was in between, I think it was Air Force One and the media, and he kind of like squats down and you can see him clenching. And the media's like, "Are you all right?" And now, apparently, if you look at this situation yesterday, Biden is standing. They're all clapping. They're in France. They're honoring the D-Day landings. And Biden seemingly, it looks like Jill knows right away. And then you can see Jill like forced to take Biden away, just like a mom with their child after they pooped their diaper, forced to take Biden off before the event ends, and the French president completely bewildered by what's going on. Biden, again, this is like the fourth or fifth time he's done it, and Democrats, a lot of the younger ones, want him off the ballot. I thought, and a lot of us thought a year ago, there's no way they would go with Biden, but you know what? The more I think about it, the Democrats are the victim of their own DEI program, and I'll explain what I mean. So, you've got Joe Biden. He's ridiculously old. I was saying back in 2020, before the election even happened, what a clown show it was that Biden was even running. It was so disingenuous because there's no way he could actually run in 2024. Well, fast forward 4 years, and here we are. Now, why would they run Biden with the worst approval rating in the history of U.S. presidents? Well, because his vice president is somehow more incompetent. And how did Kamala Harris become his vice president? Well, if you look at the Democratic Party, you look at who they have nominated for president back in 2008, minority, 2012, minority. You had Obama, obviously, both times running as the incumbent in 2012. 2016, you had the whole idea of the first female president. And then in 2020, oh my God, you've got an old white man. You're racist just like the Republicans. So what did they do to compensate for that? They got a minority female, and Kamala Harris was completely unqualified. She was actually like the Jeb Bush of 2016. If you guys remember Jeb Bush getting all the money from all the donors in 2016, and it turned out he was just not a good politician, Kamala Harris, early on in that 2020 cycle, nobody really knew who all the donors were going to rally around, and that's really who controls the Democratic Party, and that's how they forced all the other candidates to drop out when they all got behind Biden before Super Tuesday. But Kamala early on in that campaign cycle, was getting a ton of money, and it turned out nobody liked her. She got embarrassed at one of the debates, and the only reason she was chosen to be VP was not due to her qualifications, was not because Democratic voters really liked her during the primaries. It was because she was a minority female, and heaven forbid the Democrats nominate the white devil, an old white man. Oh my God. You got to go with a minority female. And of course, she's totally unqualified. She's even more unlikable. So now the left can't replace Biden with Harris because, at least with Biden, you still have the incumbent advantage, even though he's shitting himself. It's getting to the point where it's like once a month with Biden and having these incidents where he's constantly pooping. And Democratic strategists have come out and said, yes, he's wearing adult diapers. He can't control himself. It could be a big issue during the debate. So we might get Biden shitting himself during the debate with Trump in late June. It wouldn't surprise me. How about Hillary Clinton? Oh, this is such a beautiful tweet from Hillary. 80 years ago, thousands of brave Americans fought to protect democracy. And isn't it so funny now, they can't even use the democracy angle because you have Biden who's losing all the major polls to Trump in all the swing states. All the experts have come out and said Trump's up in everything, and all the internal data shows based on approval rating, Trump's got like an 85-90% chance to win. They still try and gaslight us and say, we want to protect democracy by jailing our political opponent who's beating us in every poll. And you can see it's just hilarious. The jokes write themselves. Hillary Clinton not allowing anyone to respond to this. Definitely promoting democracy. You can see we've also got this. Will Biden drop out? An 86% increase according to betting numbers. Now, I will say, About 4 or 5 months ago, Biden spiked in terms of his chances of dropping out. These numbers really don't mean a whole lot, but I guess the thought is maybe they would somehow replace Biden with either Newsom or Michelle Obama. I'm not sure how they would do that and vote either one of them above Harris, considering Harris is still the VP. There's nothing wrong with her. Why would that happen? They'd have to explain it, I guess, somehow. But it seems unlikely at this point Biden would drop out. It seems like that's their guy now. People are saying, let's see how he does in the debate. Maybe something will happen to where Biden will drop out completely. Harris gets voted up, and then they insert Gavin Newsom possibly as VP or Obama. That's another thing that potentially could happen. And then we also do have the polls coming out in Minnesota and both Virginia now. You have to treat these states as swing states at this point. You've got everyone. This is a Fox News poll. And Fox News, listen, you could say maybe they slightly lean to the right, but recently in terms of the presidential elections, there's been a polling bias with Fox News that's pro-Democrat. So I know people think surface level Fox News, they're going to be biased in terms of their polling. That's really not how it works with pollsters, even with Fox News, CNN. I mean, CNN had a poll a few months ago. I'm not saying CNN is perfect in terms of polling. They've also had a bias towards Democrats. A lot of pollsters have in terms of presidential elections. But even CNN came out and said Trump was up by 6 just in a general popular vote poll. Fox News says in Virginia, which is a state we've been waiting to get polls on, Biden is only up by 1. And if you're Trump, you want to expand the map as much as possible. Bring in Minnesota, which right now is like a 2 or 3 point lead for Biden with the limited polling we have there. And also bring in Virginia. You include Kennedy, Stein, and West. Trump seemingly having a chance in that state as well. And another funny thing is seeing this Biden economy narrative completely get blown to smithereens with underlying metrics. Now, there was a graph that came out a few months ago, maybe it was like a month ago, that showed the actual dirty truth when it came to Biden's beautiful stock market and how it was influenced heavily by inflation. And if you adjust it, and this is really what Trump needs to bring up at the debate, because I'm sure Biden will talk about the stock market. The only reason it's at a record high is because of inflation. And if you adjust it to the cost of living, it's been a net negative for many Americans, let alone the fact that normal, everyday, middle-class Americans, which I'm sure is what Biden's going to try and appeal to. I mean, that's what everyone tries to appeal to. Those are the important people in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Of course, middle-class people are not getting rich off the stock market. And then they say, oh, well, Trump referenced it. Yeah, because Trump's very competitive. He likes having a good stock market. He uses it as a measuring stick. But, I mean, technically, anyone can have a great stock market if you print money like crazy. Obviously, the stock market's going to go up. There's going to be more money in circulation. And then this, I thought this was hilarious. So, Piers Morgan, he's been having these panels on YouTube, and apparently they're really big. They get like millions of views. I saw this one. You've got Michael Knowles, and you've got this liberal girl on the right. And it's gotten so bad for the Democrats. And honestly, I don't blame this girl, but it's just hilarious when you think about it. They go to her, and she can't even explain the crime that Trump committed. And to be honest, I don't blame her. This is not me blaming her, but it's just funny to see these people twist themselves into a pretzel. They campaign for, I mean, at this point, it's been 8 years that Trump is horrible. He's racist. He's disgusting. He's killed so many people. What can we arrest him for? What can we put him in jail for? Something that they can't even explain is a crime because the crime was elevated from a misdemeanor. And then Michael Knowles, after the break, because they went to break, he's like, this girl's literally Googling what the crime was, and she's reading it off her iPhone during the segment. And I don't blame her. It's just hilarious how these people think Trump is this the worst dude ever. And what does he go to prison for? A crime that they cannot even explain. And then they want to say, we want to protect democracy. Don't pay any attention to the fact that Trump was leading all the polls and we're trying to put him in jail and just use the narrative that he's a convicted felon. No. You're just a stupid American. Trump is disgusting. He's a felon. That's all you need to know. It says on CNN, the headline. The headline says Trump's a convicted felon. You can't vote for a convicted felon. Don't look into it. Just understand. No, Alvin Bragg is perfectly fair. He campaigned on the fact that he was going to get Trump. Don't pay attention to that. No. Everything's fine. And you can see how ridiculous and how rigged it all is. And people are waking up to it. And now the fact that Twitter is free and you're not going to get banned for any little thing that they don't like, it's going to be a major problem during the election. We're very thankful that Musk has opened up Twitter, especially when it comes to the politics. Because I remember back in, especially 2021, did Musk buy, I think Musk bought Twitter in April of 2022. I don't know the exact timeline, but it was so brutal when they had control of everything. You want to talk about a dystopia when it comes to social media, and this is how demented these people have gotten. It's just like college campuses. Think about it. The total control over social media, it did not reflect the electorate. We have, I would say, you could say 40-40-20. Liberals will argue there's more liberals in the United States, but still, even if you wanted to argue, it wasn't reflective in terms of our social media, and the people that controlled our social media were all on one side. That is not healthy for any true. Remember, these are the kings of democracy. They love democracy. It's not good for democracy. And the reason I would relate it to college campuses is because the numbers have come out with the professors, and I'm sure many of you guys know this. And I love how it's like all these young kids, they're going and they're getting educated, they're getting smarter, and that's why they're liberal. It's not because like 99% of the professors are liberal. That's not the reason. Disregard that. No. They're just so smart now. They got a theater degree. And now they're bitching and they want us to pay for their student loan because the degree is completely useless. But they have a degree. They're smart. They have a degree. They're liberal and smart. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.